My husband and I have been married for 2 years. His dad and stepmom are going through an ugly divorce, so his half-brother has moved in with us to live for a year until he starts college. My husband loves his brother, treats him like a little kid, and is overly protective of him. I find Bill's behavior obnoxious, and we are having too many arguments over this. He's been with us for only a month and a half, and I can't stand it, and I really don't think I can put up with it for a year. It started off with him making messes and throwing away leftovers. Since I do most of the cooking and cleaning, it was increasing my workload. My husband's list of chores has not increased in his presence, so he was dismissive of my complaints. Since my husband wasn't saying anything, I tried telling him to pick up after himself. Bill retaliated by spanking my buttocks. Anytime I tell him to do something, he hits my buttocks hard and laughs. The husband told him to knock it off, but he keeps doing it, and the husband treats it as if he's just playing around. No big deal. Not only is it very disrespectful, but it's really painful. After that, he started randomly picking me up and carrying me around. I am a little over 5 feet and 120 pounds, and he's a tall, stocky guy. I hate it, and my husband just thinks he's goofing around and trying to be friends with me. I work from home, and the other day, when it was just him and me in the house, he picked me up, ran with me to my bedroom, and threw me on the bed. It really scared me, but he just laughed at me and left. My husband thinks I am being dramatic by being scared by this. I feel like his behavior is escalating, but my husband tells me to act like an adult and not blow up over a kid's playfulness. I am anxious every day, and I am seriously thinking of moving out, though it'll be difficult to afford it. AITAH for telling my husband that I don't feel safe in our home. ETA, thank you so much for your comments and for validating me. My husband had me confused and believed that I was overreacting. I am so relieved to hear from so many people that this is as dangerous and bad as I feel. I have packed a bag in my car with some important belongings and documents. I am 29F for those who asked. I forgot to put that in my post. I called and talked to MIL early in the morning. She's always been very nice to me, and at my wedding, she told me she thinks of me as her daughter. My mom passed away when I was young, and I don't have any siblings, so that moved me very much. I was nervous about talking to her because I didn't want to ruin that relationship, but she was so shocked when she heard the details. She said she'd talk to my husband and Phil about this unacceptable situation and told me to come stay with her till it was resolved. Bill is out with his friends till tomorrow, July 4th, so it gives me some time to have one more detailed discussion with my husband. I am also going to show him this Reddit post, and hopefully his mom's talk and these comments will be a wake-up call. Comment: if we rephrase what is happening to a man living with you and your husband started sexually touching you and has escalated to physically forcing you onto a bed while your husband belittles your feelings of being scared in your own home. A proper response is to leave and inform the police. Update: I am very appreciative of everyone who commented on my last post and gave me encouragement. I won't be able to respond to all, but I appreciate it. I wasn't able to resolve this issue with my husband, and I have moved out. I am trying to come to terms with the fact that this is the end of my marriage. My mother-in-law was on my side and talked to my husband about this situation, but he got more annoyed with me because he saw this as me creating more drama between MIL and Phil and causing old grievances to rise. I showed him the Reddit post I made in the comments, and he accused me of presenting things in a lurid manner to get people on my side. He didn't even read all the discussions. He just got enraged and closed the tab. MIL also talked to Phil, who came down on Bill about his behavior. Phil told Bill to leave our house and move in with him. Bill refused, saying he wanted to stay with my husband. My husband came up with the solution that Bill should stay in his room and I should stay in my bedroom, lock the door, and not get out till he gets home from work. This pissed me off more. I had packed a bag and my documents, thinking of leaving anyway. Phil talked to me and said that he doesn't like that we aren't getting along and Bill will no longer stay with us. But the next day, Bill came into the house with a group of his friends. I simply grabbed my laptop and left. I am so grateful to the people who suggested that I be packed and ready to go. I already had everything in my car and could leave with what I needed immediately. I am staying with MIL now. She is flabbergasted by my husband, who's told her that he'll never ask a close family member to leave his house. It is clear that my husband doesn't even like me, much less care about me at all. He hasn't spoken to me since I left. I am trying to figure out what I should do next. I obviously can't stay with MIL for long, especially since I need to start the divorce process. I could move back in with my dad, but he lives in another state, and that'll make things hard. I don't have any savings, and I am short on money. The majority of my paycheck goes toward half of the mortgage and utilities on our house. We have a combined joint account. I have been foolishly spending a lot on decorating the house instead of saving up, and I suppose all that is gone now. I need to figure out my financial situation so I can support myself. Relevant comments. Thanks for the update. I'm glad you didn't let this situation go on any longer, and that you had the courage to get out of the marriage when you realized you had a husband problem. You're young, and you have a new and better beginning ahead of you. I like your parents-in-law. How did they raise such crappy sons? OOP. MIL has been amazing. But she didn't raise Bill. That's Phil's son from his second marriage. And Phil, well, I think it's good that he told Bill to leave. But he was dismissive of the issue itself, acting like it was a bit of a spat between us. Thank you for this update. I am very pleased to hear that you are out and safe. I'm dreadfully sorry that your husband has proved himself to be so uncaring. And, well, just a complete jerk. My advice now is to continue to have heart-to-heart conversations with your MIL. She has some good life experience, and may be able to help you in ways you don't realize. You might also offer to pay her some rent or for expenses. The most important thing is to start the divorce process immediately, and force the sale of the house or force your STBX to refinance and buy you out of the mortgage. You don't have children, and the house seems to be your main large debt, so getting rid of it is essential. Also, stop paying any utility bills that aren't in your name immediately. Send your STBX a list so he knows to pay directly. Any utilities in your name should be put in his name immediately, so when you find a place of your own, you can get new accounts for your new place. If STBX gives you any guff about it, simply tell him they need to be switched or you will turn them off, and he can start from scratch. His choice. But the point is that if you aren't living there, you shouldn't be paying for utilities. You need to start saving immediately. Also, change every single password for every account before you do anything else. Every single one. You're going to be okay, OP. Just don't get stuck or stalled waiting for your STBX to stop pouting and get real. Start the process immediately and keep moving forward. Let your lawyer deal with the STBX. Best of luck to you. OOP. Yes, thank you. I need a checklist of things to do. I have been sitting in a depressed funk for the past few days, feeling lost. But I can do all this for now. Just adding on, I'd probably freeze my credit report until your finances are successfully separated, just in case. You should also consider filing a police report against STBX Bill. He assaulted you multiple times. Even if it never goes anywhere, at least you'll have a record of it. Update 2. A few of you have been messaging me asking for updates, and for those who still care to know, the update is that my husband and I are getting divorced. We have been separated since I left home at that time. The house has been sold, and I got the equity out of it. I got some kitchen appliances and some decor back, but for the most part, I lost the money I spent on furnishings. But that's okay, it could have been worse. After my last post, I had separated my money out, hired a lawyer, and handled utilities so I wouldn't be paying anything. My ex was shocked by my actions. He was waiting to call my bluff and couldn't believe I'd go so far so quickly. He didn't take my leaving seriously because I was staying at his mom's house. We had more arguments, and I started realizing that he would never really hear me. He was always so focused on being right and having his way that he could twist reality to fit his needs. Looking back, it was always like that in our relationship, but I was in love and a pushover. We went into marital counseling. I agreed to go because, mostly, I wanted an acknowledgement from him that what went on was messed up, and also because my MIL really pushed me to try to make it work with him. It was all a SHT show because he denied a lot of egregious things and presented the issues as minor things that I was twisting up. He stuck to his viewpoint that Bill was simply goofing around, and I got offended because I haven't had siblings and don't know how they mess around with each other. After a few weeks of counseling, my ex agreed to have Bill move out, but he was acting as if he had made this huge sacrifice for me, and I didn't believe it. I had already checked out of this relationship and knew I couldn't trust him anymore. MIL was very disappointed that I still wanted a divorce after her son compromised. I had moved out of MIL's house after a month of staying with her. I stopped contributing to the mortgage payments and got my own apartment. It was a risky thing to do, but I decided I'd take that hit to my credit history for my independence. I bet that it'd matter more to him, and that forced his hand into selling the house. It was sold as soon as it got on the market, so that was a huge relief. All my decorating paid off in that way, at least. I've stayed in touch with my MIL and heard from her that her ex moved into a small apartment and Bill had moved back with Phil. I also heard from some mutual friends that he's been telling everyone that the divorce is happening because I was jealous and controlling and tried to separate him from his family, and I was a nagging harpy to his baby brother. He already has a new girlfriend who's more family-oriented. I am waiting for the final divorce decree to be signed, and I hope there are no problems or delays there. I know a lot of you wanted me to make a police report about Bill, but I didn't feel safe doing that. I don't have a support system that I can rely on if things go wrong, and I want to walk away from this with minimum harm. A lot of people have chided me for not hitting back, but at no point did I think I could do that and get away without taking a beating. I suppose I am not a very brave person, but I think I am looking at my chances realistically and doing what I can to keep myself reasonably safe. Thank you for watching the video.